pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd have a moment of silence for our police and fire department. You may be seated. Okay. Chief, if you could start the introductions, please.
Brian Wells, Fire Chief. Valley, Public Works.
SSB, Director of Senior Services and Community Engagement. Brooke Hart, City Treasurer. Ellen Glass, City Manager.
Nicole Eisenborn, Deputy Clerk.
Denise Miller, City Councilor.
Brad Dick, City Councilor.
Jerry Link, Mayor Pro Tem.
Pam Howell. Oh, sorry. That's all right. Mike Gildner, City Attorney. Now it's your turn, Pam.
Sorry, Mike. Pam Howell, City Councilor.
Tom Hicks, City Council.
Brenda Simon, City Councilor.
Okay, and then I would like to excuse Liz Armstrong. She's not able to make it tonight. Okay, there are no special presentations, no public hearings, no correspondence.
Keep going.
We're moving it. We're going.
Moving.
Yeah. So now we'll go to public comment. Any person wishing to address the city council during a meeting will get 3 minutes under public comment. When the public comment is approached on the agenda, individuals wishing to speak will be called upon utilizing the filled out comment forms. Remarks should be addressed to the presiding officer and is not a time for debate, but for questions and comments for council and or staff. Questions will be answered if the information is readily available. If answers are not available during the meeting, council or staff will contact the individual within 48 hours and respond to the questions within 10 days or when the information becomes available. All right, so with that said, we'll start out with Casey Darren.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Casey Barron. I'm running for 67th District Court Judge. You may know that we made it through the primary recently, and we're very excited about that, and we're wasting no time because there's not a lot of time to be had. And we have the November election coming up, as many of you are aware. As we get out and knock on the doors, I'm very thankful for the reception that we've had going into the primary and as we're moving along. I want to say we're looking for a new judge right now, and there's 2 candidates left in the general, and I'd ask for your support. I believe that I'm the candidate that has the most experience. I've been practicing for over 25 years. I've been in this area for over 20 years. We've chosen to live here. My wife's here with me tonight, and we have raised our children here. This is where my business is, my practice is, and I've been helping the people of this area for a couple decades now. This is where we've sunk our roots, and I believe it's important to have somebody as a judge in this community who knows the community, who's worked here, served here, and I have a background of service and experience. I'm a West Point graduate, served in the Army, and since then, since law school, been here in this area where I've served on the Benton Township Board, the Board of Appeals, Zoning Board of Appeals, sorry. Also, been on the Southern Lakes Park and Rec Board and served in numerous other capacities, coaching. I'm also a referee for MHSAA. So, like I said, we've sunk our roots here, and we have a very long history of serving the community. I think that's important. So, I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you for all your support. Everybody's been extremely receptive, and I'm thankful for what we've done thus far coming through the primary, and I'd be thankful for your vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Kenyon.
Everybody. I would like to address the narrative that is being circulated on social media regarding our city governance. Namely, the accusation that our charter was violated by the manager in hiring a DPW director without your voted approval. Based on the charter language, I concede that a step may have been missed, not only by the manager, but you as well. I find it hard to tell as the charter contradicts itself regarding hiring. If we follow their analysis of the charter, then every hire, even predating Ellen, is likely illegal. This includes our firefighters, police officers, some office staff, DPW employees, and the staff that cleans our buildings. Also following their storyline, then past and present councils and managers have not adhered to the charter. Lots of blame here, but for whatever reason, it seems to be the current manager who is the target of terrible remarks in the public forum by a few people. It almost sounds like it's a personal vendetta, and I cannot understand why. More troubling to me is that these posts that are being generated to attack the manager have started to leach out to include other departments, namely police and fire, by way of the responses that these original posts are being given. And they are equally as nasty. Citizens have the right to express their opinions and criticize, but this has gone beyond constructive criticism and has become hateful and vindictive, and it's been going on for months. Every time things look like they're going to calm down, another imagined crisis rears its ugly head. It's almost as if somebody from your side of the table is fanning flames. I realize that you don't have the power to stop the hateful posts, but I want to know how long you are going to let this continue without speaking out to support our employees and say that this is not okay. Your silence on this issue is sending the wrong message to our great staff. Finally, my suggestion is to formally make a motion to approve the hiring, and let's put this to rest. Thank you.
Okay, May Vernon.
Good evening, May Vernon. I live in Linden. And thank you. I have to have my notes. On social media, people have asked me why I hate the city manager. I fail to see how my describing her possible wrongdoings can be construed as acts of hate. I am pointing out actions. I don't know the woman. Her friends and supporters have referred to me as a 190-year-old hag, also hippo, and I was told to take whatever device I use to get on Facebook and stick it up my A-blank-S, and that I am an annoying C-blank-NT. With friends and supporters such as these, I'm very happy to say I do not know the city manager. Any post I make is a direct reference to an action that has been taken by a city employee. It just happens to be that it is usually the city manager. The subject matter of bullying. At the last meeting, a person was apparently ashamed to present their own thoughts and ask another resident to read a letter anonymously. which is in black and white, words written in the council rules and procedures, is not being allowed. I still don't have answers to my questions from June 8th, 54 working days, or from August 10th, 10 working days. You can read the rules. I have had contact. It's not the same thing as an answer. Also, another resident did send an email on June 10th. She still doesn't have an answer. It seems the city manager, whose responsibility that is, doesn't know how to give an answer to a question. Just a little tidbit I'd like to share. It took 93 days in 1887 to build the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. Thank you for your time.
Judy Preston?
Judy Preston. On Friday, went to City Hall at 8 to 10 o'clock. It was closed. I understand it was a retirement party. Nobody was there to answer anything or nothing, and I understand council wasn't invited. I thought Don worked for the city as a whole. The next issue is on this agenda. We got turned down for the water, where they went to Lansing. And it was said in the past, if you go look at the videos, when it was asked by the city manager what would happen if we didn't get it. And yes, it was addressed as a hypothetical. And if it does, it said it comes back to the taxpayer's water bill. I was wondering if there's more grants we can get, or maybe do something with the towers and stuff like that. City council policy and procedures for the anonymous needs to be addressed. And the new hire guy. In 2001, the chief was confirmed. 2010, the police chief was confirmed by council. 2021, Don had a nice introduction with a nice resume given to council. And then also we come to this new one, and nothing. That was asked by council if they were gonna get a resume, if they can see anything, nothing. Looked in the minutes, and it says that basically that the council didn't have anything to say and the public didn't have no comments. You go watch the video, the manager never asked public for comments or the council for comments on the new DPA guy. And if the city manager would just follow our city charter and let council do their jobs of confirming and doing their process, it might be run smoother and stuff like that. I'd like to thank Brad today because he looked up a thing that I sent to him, and hopefully he's gonna send me a final thing. But he found something that we both looked at, which we both agreed that looked pretty odd on the budget. And other than that, as far as stuff goes, you're here as a council, and the council needs to stand up and work together as a team. You're independent, whether you like each other or you don't, that doesn't matter. You're here to represent us, and you're here to do a job and process. You are part of the charter, and there is process. I've been to lawyers, I've been to colleges, and they totally contradict. If you read the city charter, it does go by steps.
Patty Kahn?
Hi, everybody. It's so wonderful. Can you hear me? It's so wonderful to see all the great generations in the audience. I didn't start attending until I was 63. So. I was wanting to do a follow-up, but the chief isn't here. Could I table my question until next time or have his response next time? This is a follow-up on the speed study on Silver Lake Road, where we go from 25 to 35, 45 to 55 in about a mile and a quarter. And I'm just a little concerned about, now we're gonna have amazing traffic on that path that we might wanna reconsider, not only for safety, but also for noise too.
I mean, you can bring it up in this meeting and the next meeting if you would like. If you bring it up here, I'm sure Ellen can pass it on to the chief and then get a response.
Yeah, because I think he was assigned, I had brought this up once before, he was assigned a task, but I wasn't able to come, so I don't know if he was going to respond or not, so I wanted to give him that opportunity.
Okay.
So, it's greatly needed. I'm excited about the new path, we just need to keep everybody safe.
Marta Wright?
Hello, my name is Marta Wright. 2 weeks ago, I stood at this podium and read a letter from a longtime resident who wanted to express their feelings of being bullied personally and their family also. Their family member was not bullied, but was targeted at their place of employment. This has happened to more than this family, and boy, did those parties who were guilty come unglued. They posted on social media, of which most I can't comment because I was blocked in October of 2024, and demanded the letter be removed. Public comments are never in the minutes. The video is a courtesy until the minutes are written, as they are the official record of the city of Linden. They have targeted the city manager, the city attorney, councilors, and plenty more. You find yourself on their list if you question them or don't agree with their opinions. The personal attacks on me have been coming since October of 24 when I asked a question, and this has been posted many times on social media. I attribute these attacks from an angry and spiteful old lady who doesn't like differing views. But their biggest offense has been the accusations toward the members of the Linden Fire Department. Every one of the men and women Every one of the men and women put their lives on the hold, or in some instances, lives on the line for the citizens of Linden. We are volunteers. By questioning the integrity and the professionalism of those responding as to if they would respond to someone they didn't like is despicable, absolutely despicable. We are on call 24/7, 365. This department has never been questioned, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for suggesting that would ever happen, to get back on one member who dares to question their ethics, and that's me. Unless you have evidence to back up your claims of unprofessionalism, I'm asking you to stop. Lastly, and that's a big if you claim to call Linden, as I got a screenshot of such, that you claim this is your hometown, which it isn't, look up the definition. Why are you so intent on destroying it? And no, I do not consider myself as a baboon. How adult of you, along with your hypocrisy.
Stephanie Shaw.
Hi, Stephanie Shaw. I live on Hyatt Lane. And I just had a concern regarding the landscaping that was done after the new sidewalks were installed on Hyatt Lane this spring. We're happy with the sidewalks and everyone walking by can tell everyone really loves them, but the grass seed that was put in is terrible. Like what grass seed there was. It's mostly like crabgrass and bare spots. So I didn't know, I know we have a new director and I was in contact with Don about getting it reseeded and he said he was in touch with them but hasn't heard back. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that hopefully it could get reseeded possibly this fall or before winter, so it doesn't go into next spring. That's all, thank you.
Thank you. And Ramona Dietz.
Ramona Dietz, 506 North Ridge Street, Linden. You've done a really good job taking care of the inside of this building. But out there is a dead tree that's been there for a long, long time, and it needs to be cut down. And on the east side of the parking lot, there's a spruce tree that's dying from the bottom toward the top, and it needs to be pruned, and it needs to be fertilized. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, and that closes the public. Is there any more public comments?
My name is Monica Larner, and I live in Linden. So there was an expectation to receive the May activity log for LOSI in the June 22nd packet. A week ago, on 8/17, I see that it is in the assembled tonight's packet. I did receive an email attachment, but the email said that the postings are at the center for changes or cancellation of classes. I'm saying that postings at the center do not get seen by the public. So, for instance, there's the Monday yoga class is starting today. And so I just think there should be numerous ways to get the message out for the changes and cancellations. And so I'm gonna go back to the voting days. I was told that the programming was not gonna change. So on May 5th, there was no Drums Alive, and there was no arthritis exercise classes, which there was supposed to be 2 of them. There was no line dance, and then there was no Mahjong. On the August 4th, there was no Drums Alive, no arthritis class, and no line dance. So it seems that the withholding of the activity log, was somehow, maybe I'd forget about it or whatever, I don't know. And then the discussion about the meals during the early voting. So they were given a choice, they could eat outside the center. So it's not surprising that they voted not to participate. And that was only offered to certain people, so I don't know what that's all about. So every time I talk about the cancellation of classes, it's thrown back at me that I don't understand caregiving. Well, I do, I live it. And it's not fair to, throw that back at me. All I'm asking is that a substitute instructor do these classes. I don't think that's too much to ask for. So what's happening with the money that is not being used for these classes that are canceled?
Okay, thank you. Alicia Jinks?
Hi, Lisa Jenks, 301 Southeast Street. A couple of weeks ago on a Tuesday morning at 8:30, I went to get my hair cut by Mary, the lady at the bridge downtown Linden. There were no parking spots in that parking lot behind. And as I'm looking around, I'm seeing Dr. Wax's employees parking in that other parking lot now and blocking the Dr. Wax's place. And I believe that that is unfair. I couldn't find a spot to get my hair cut with an appointment for a local salon. Unreasonable. How are Dr. Wax's employees allowed, and then all that parking lot that she paid for is open for her people? And I think her employees are also her people. And maybe she ought to build another parking lot or something. And you guys want to take 6 more spots away from us. I haven't heard anything else about that. Is that going to happen? Thank you.
All right. Are there any more public comments? Anyone? Okay, with that said, Ellen, if you could answer.
I'll start with the most recent. So public parking, as City Council knows, but I don't think any decision has been made on whether or not we're removing any parking spots at all. I think that's still being researched at this point. In regards to LOCI and the activity log and things like that, nothing was withheld from anyone. It was included in the future packets, and it was provided to the residents that requested at the time. I'm pretty sure the question in regards to cancellations and things like that has been answered multiple times. Tessa is working on trying to get instructors, especially backup instructors and things like that, to address, working with Southern Lakes, working with other senior centers, reaching out to everybody that she possibly can to try to fill those, I guess, backups or even initial offerings and things like that. Ramona, thank you for the comments, and in regards to the LOCI building, if there's some trees and things outside that need attention, we'll make sure that that's on the list for the DPW to address at the time. I'll make sure to follow up on the safe routes to school and the landscaping issues. If Don had been working on that, I'm sure we'll continue to follow up on that. Patty, I will pass along to Chief that you're still waiting on information in regards to the speed and the different zones there and the speed study. As far as the other ones, I think those were more directed at City Council, or I really don't have anything to comment on those. I think a lot of the questions have been answered previously, but thank you.
All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda.
Yep. Mayor Pro Tem, we just have the City Council minutes from August 10th and the financial reports for approval tonight.
Okay.
I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Dick?
Yes.
Miller?
Yep.
Hicks?
Yes.
Simons?
Yes.
Link?
Yes.
Howe?
Yes.
All right. Motion to consent agenda is approved. All right, discussion items. This is the interlocal agreement for road maintenance with Genesee County Road Commission.
Mayor Pro Tem, Link, and City Council, in your packet is just for your review. It's just in discussion. As you guys can see, that our current agreement actually expires at the end of this year. We want to make sure that we're prepared to go for January. Before we finalize the document, we just wanted to see if you all had any feedback in any capacity. Don't feel that you have to comment tonight, but it's there for your review. We are working with the Genesee County Road Commission right now to finalize. We've actually had this agreement in place since 2021. It's worked pretty effectively. We've had some things that we've smoothed out from year to year, and I think it continues to grow. Patrick, I know, is looking forward to working with Genesee County as well to continue that. So honestly, it's just on there tonight for just feedback from you all. So we're happy to hear any feedback that you might have.
Okay. Counselor Miller, any questions? Is there any public comments on this first? We'll start there. All right. Seeing none, Counselor Miller.
No, I'm good.
Counselor Dick.
As far as I know, obviously, Patrick doesn't know yet, but I think it's been a good program. Makes a lot of sense that Genesee County, when they're plowing the roads, don't lift their blades up in Linden and then drop them on the other side. They go right through. It's easy to just drop the blades and saves us a lot of wear and tear on our vehicles for the big roads.
Counselor Simons.
Thanks for the information. I'm glad that we'll have some time to review it. I'm very aware of what we've been doing in the past, so I look forward to approving it one more time.
Counselor Hicks.
Yeah, I kind of read through it earlier today. It's what we've been doing for a while. The only thing I saw in there was a section in there that stated that on school days, they would take care of certain areas, on weekends, they did not. So does that fall under our DPW then at that time?
What that is actually stating is that they're going to prioritize school routes to make sure that those routes are safe and ready to go, and then on the weekends they'll start with. They're only doing majors and things like that.
Right.
Our DPW handles all secondary.
Okay. Yeah, and other than that, I think it's a good plan. I mean, they're like Mr. Dick said, when they come across, they're running our roads anyway, but they might as well take care of them. So, yeah, I'm for it.
Counselor Howell?
Since they've taken care of our roads, they've done an excellent job, and I especially like the way they've taken care of Ripley, because it's historically been potholes and really hard to go down during the summer, and they do excellent work at fixing, maintaining those potholes. And they do a great job in the winter too, so the brushes are safe. So I really like this agreement.
All right. And, I mean, I don't have any more to say than what everybody's already said, so we can move on.
We don't anticipate, and I don't think we're anticipating any changes to the overall contract at all. I think they're willing to move forward with what we have in place as of right now, so I don't anticipate a language change at all.
It works, don't fix it. All right, we'll move on to the unfinished business.
In your packet, you guys have the monthly grant update that had been requested to put in there. We have provided updates, most recent updates that we could as of last Wednesday on where we stand with the grants. I don't really have an update on the media recordings or contract statuses as far as the museum in Linden or the library in the middle building. Low-C van update, we're still pending a date when we're actually going to receive the van. We do know that it's in, and we're working with MTA on when that will actually be delivered to Low-C and what that program will look like moving forward, and no further update on the comic cards.
Okay. With that said, Counselor Simons, any questions on the unfinished business?
No, absolutely not. Thank you for your update. I really appreciate that. Makes a world of difference.
Counselor Hicks?
Nope, everything looks to be right on track. So I'm fine, thank you.
Counselor Howell?
I just wanted to tell you that I talked to Mueller's office this morning, and they felt really badly that the key three of the state of Michigan took our $4 million for the water grant out. And they had fought very vigilantly, having late nights, and it did no avail. They said that the T3, which is the governor, the Democratic whip and the Republican, they slashed and burned a lot of stuff and pared down, because the goal is for these people is to cut down the size of state government. So unfortunately, our grant was part of it. However, I asked them, are you going to next year when the appropriations and the bills come up, are you going to reintroduce this? And he said most definitely. He would follow through with it, and hopefully a new regime in there will see the difference of funding us instead of somebody's roundabout. So they knew how badly we need the money and they're going to fight for it. That's all I wanted to say.
Counselor Dick?
No, that's good update, Pam, like that. Otherwise, we keep applying for grants. And one thing is we don't budget projects based on grants. We don't take that into account. If we get a grant, then we do a project. We don't start a project without money.
All right, good. Counselor Miller?
I agree with exactly what Pam said, and I really feel bad for Mike Mueller. He fought the last 2 years for this grant. I talked to him the day when he was up there in front of the board, or doing the budget, and I was watching him on TV because he could actually follow through. And what happened to him was just wrong. A roundabout took our spot, and he fought hard, and he's committed, just like Pam said, to come back and put it back on for next year. So I thank Mike Mueller, and if anyone sees him, thank him for all of his hard work. That's all I have.
All right. And then, you know, on the grants, I know there's a lot of questions, and this is, Brad kind of touched on it, we don't start the projects and, you know, without the money. But I know there's questions on what's gonna happen with the water, right? And you know, if maybe at the next meeting, if we could give the residents a little explanation. And essentially, it's going to be, look, if we would have gotten this money, it would have helped, but it's not gonna hurt anything as far as the plan moving forward.
If you don't mind, I could try to address them.
Yeah, great.
So, I think you guys all know, we've had PFM in front of you guys a couple different times. They do an intense study of our rates every year. They just presented to you all not long ago and advised that as of right now, the rates can sustain themselves for until the spring when we start on the budget year. And then at that point, I think their recommendation is inflationary increases at that point. This funding that would have been received would have been able to, we could have utilized that for future capital projects such as the water towers, capping of the wells, water main replacement on Ripley Road, things like that. But as of right now, the funding right now doesn't have any effect on where the rates stand. And PFM's recommendation was that we were able to sustain our rates until the spring, and we'll do another review with them, and they'll make a recommendation at that time.
All right, thank you. And then on the meeting recordings, I would ask, you know, I mean, all the equipment is installed at this point in time. I think if we can, you know, council members look at the recordings, maybe at the next meeting, we can have a discussion. If everybody's happy with where we're at, then we can maybe cross that off the list. So I think we're getting real close. Same thing with the van, I believe, maybe Tessa, I don't know if she's gonna read her whole report, but I believe the van's supposed to be coming next month. It was very.
Do you want her to read her whole report? No.
Yeah, that's okay, but that's moving forward, and it sounds like that was another one we can cross off the list here shortly, so.
And really quickly on the meeting recordings, if you don't mind, I think there was some confusion in regards to that overall project, and maybe I can provide some clarification to that as well. The meeting recordings that Kristen had been working on and the microphones was a distinct project that she had been working on specifically for council and utilizing PEG funds. Tessa was also working on another independent project in regards to the replacement of the projectors and the sounds, the technology in here for the sound. They did work collaboratively with a vendor to be able to get the labor down, but those were two very distinct projects being paid for out of two separate funds, and it is not unusual for our staff to work with one vendor on different projects, I guess I'll say. So I just wanted to provide that update as well, and maybe hopefully give some clarification, because I know there was some question surrounding that as well. So.
All right, thank you. And then the comment cards update. I do have one question on there. I know there's sometimes where city staff addressed as a response to certain questions as far as in the next agenda packet. If we could give a little bit of an explanation, that way residents, if they're reading the packet online, or if the council's, you know, if we're reading it, we know what the city's response is to those residents. So we could just, not a major, 5-page report, but if we could just add a quick, this is what, this was a response, instead of just, hey, the city staff addressed, if that would be possible.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was happening with copies of the emails and things like that, or correspondence that was shared was being provided. I'll make sure that that's happening.
And that was, and it was very good. A lot of the
Okay.
emails that were sent, that was on there, but
Okay.
there was, it's
Some of
not
them.
very often, but there was maybe one, maybe two, that somebody addressed, that you addressed with a phone call or something
Okay.
like that, but, so, okay, great. I guess we'll move on. There's no new business, nothing happening in town? So.
We're trying to get projects across the finish line.
All right, then move on to manager's update.
I sent an update out last week, and I'll just kind of highlight some things. I'm sure all of you guys have seen that a lot of the block work has been done on the mill. They're gonna be working on installation of the stairway, an elevator, hopefully in the coming weeks. We do not have an official completion date. As of right now, we do know that it's been moved back, but still hopeful that completion will happen this year. So as soon as we get an official, date, we'll definitely share that as well. But I think it was briefly mentioned that it would be early December when we had a walkthrough with the contractor and stuff. So we're anxiously awaiting that. That project is moving along. We're still waiting on consumers' feedback on that line there as well. And then also, the painting, the exterior is supposed to start, and so we're waiting on some feedback on that in regards to a specific product they're supposed to be using. Appreciate everyone's understanding. We did have a brief closure at City Hall on Friday, as it was Don's last day, and Don had requested that things stay small. He's not one that likes a big, center of attention. We did acknowledge and share a plaque with Don at the city council meeting previously. So Friday was a chance to allow staff to be able to say their goodbyes. His team that he built that is very close and everything, so I appreciate the understanding there. We wish him well and things in his next adventure. Triangle Park Trailhead and Laugh Pathway. Things are moving along. I did provide, as obviously that some of you were not here from the beginning of that project, the specs for Triangle Park and the plan. Actually, Patrick was able to do a walkthrough with that project, and things are moving along, and it looks like that it does meet what the original plan was. They're working on signage. I know they have had some setbacks along the lakeside there, so we don't have a date. I don't know that we have a date yet either, as far as the official date when that's gonna be done. Hogan Road kayak launch ribbon cutting, September 1st, 5:30. All of you are invited. We are also hosting Small Cities, September 2nd, for City Council. I think I've heard back from a few of you. If you guys would like to attend, please get with Kristen. The overlook at the gazebo area has been completed. I know that we wish that the entire concrete area down there would have been done, the sidewalks would have been replaced. It's pretty challenging when we do CDBG projects to extend beyond the actual parameters of the bid project, so we have to be careful with that. We do have some work that needs to be repaired once they're done with the mill, so we'll consider replacement or at least entertain some quotes to see what it would to finish that, so it's a complete new concrete down there leading up to that area. As you guys know, I did put in there that we're working with MDOT right now to close out our Category B grant that we received for West Ralston Road. And we're working with Row right now on that to finalize it. As you guys know, we did receive a $250,000 grant, and MDOT's pushing back a little bit because we extended that project all the way to city limits, while their grant only went to a certain portion, which was Beach Buggy Lane. So we're working through that right now. We don't have final decision on that. We did do an extension on the Shiawassee River Water Trail Coalition grant that we are simply just a pass-through on that grant. The Shiawassee River Trail Coalition asked us to be the fiduciary on that grant, and they had a $50,000 grant that we are, again, just a pass-through. We receive the invoices, Brooke quantifies those, we share them with Eagle or the DNR. We get approval for those, and then those are paid out accordingly. And so I think they extended it to spring of '27, so we can get that expended and done with. Didn't want to see them lose that funding. And I think that's it as of right now. Happy to field any questions you guys might have.
You want to have any questions? Pam?
I have just one question on the gazebo. The gazebo, the little island where the gazebo rests, at one time had a rock wall around it to prevent soil erosion and to keep the integrity of the gazebo area intact. And over the years, it got demolished somehow, or I'm not sure, stories are that somebody went and took the wall apart and threw them into the river. And it does appear that some of those rocks, they look like they could have been matched and against the side of but neither here nor there. The soil erosion has been so intense, especially given the springtime floods and all through there. Is there something that can be done? Can that rock wall, I know you have to do a permit, but you have to, thoughts on restoring the rock wall to preserve the integrity and safety of that island?
I think I can confidently say that we can put that on the list to explore and probably provide an update or more information at a later date. I don't have anything to add to that tonight, but I do know what you're saying. We do have a lot of kids that go down there and play with the rocks, stack them up in the river, things like that. So
I don't think it was kids. It was, the word is it was an adult.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the kids, no. And they would just, most of the kids love the rocks down there, so, I mean.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And we will move on to city attorney's update.
The only thing that I wanted to mention was over the last several weeks, I've been contacted by members of council with questions on all matters of issues. One being, of course, the question about the authority to name a DPW director. That was just as an example of one of those questions. Last week, I was asked a question about the council's rules of procedure, which caused me to reread those to answer that question. Now, I had reviewed those months ago before council approved them, but hadn't committed them to memory. But in going through them, I came across this section, which I simply wanted to report to council. It says, quote, "Only the manager and the mayor are authorized to contact the city attorney regarding municipal matters. Generally, questions involving significant legal research should be at the request of the city manager or city council as a body." Having read that, being reminded that it was there, I realized that with respect to the question about who has the authority to name the DPW director, I don't believe that came from council as a whole, as a body. And so with respect to the questions that have been asked of me that remain on the table, I have no problem answering any questions. But I think it's important that council be reminded that these are your rules. This is what you adopted for you. I'm bound by them. And so moving forward, as I am contacted with questions, I will remind you that I mean no disrespect, but you need to take it to council. In every community that I represent, I say the same thing. I don't care who contacts me. It doesn't matter to me. I do care that it's established early and often who can contact me so that everybody understands that. Some communities say all elected officials can contact me. Others say it's just select individuals. The virtue, as I see it, in having select members or with city council as a whole is that you all don't get a bill and you say, geez, oh Pete, Gilner is just going crazy with these opinions, number one. Number two, anything that I am asked needs to be shared with council as a whole. I don't want any of you to think I'm giving a member advice or direction or answers that I'm not sharing with everybody else. And so it's just a reminder moving forward. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Anyone have any comments, questions?
I do, if I could.
You do?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep, go ahead, Councilor Bill.
The one question I have is, Chris had asked the question, or a member in the audience had asked the question about going forward with hires. And then something was brought up about anonymous people talking at the podium. So I'd just like to get some clarity and get this over with, that we can be done with it. I liked Chris's opinion going forward. I know that it's been out there that Chief Sutter was hired by the city council. So I'm just the last hurrah on this. I just like your opinion, and to see what your thoughts are.
Well, as to the first, which is my opinion on the DPW director and who has authority, manager versus council, I gave that opinion, and thereafter I was told that others had done some research and came across the fact that different department heads had been brought to council. In the same conversation, that person told me that the research had showed that other department heads were not brought to council for approval. As far as I'm concerned, that supports my opinion. My opinion is that the charter is a mess. It's all over the place. And there appears to be no clearly established process. And so when we look at historical practice, I think that just bears that out. With respect to anonymous comments, your rules of procedure, this is the question that was asked me that prompted me to look at them more carefully, says, quote, "No anonymous comments will be accepted into the record or read. Anonymous and unsigned communications shall not be introduced in council meetings." Again, your rules, not mine. I think that while there are some First Amendment concerns with that language, I take them at face value, and I leave it at that. And that was the answer that I gave, is that in my estimation, anonymous comments should not be accepted into the record. When they are coming, though, from members of the public during their public time, I do have those First Amendment concerns, did not thoroughly research that issue for the reasons that I explained. Going back to your first question very briefly, I think Ms. Kenyon's comment was perhaps council can, excuse me, simply pass a motion directing that future folks be approved by council. Well, that is an option. The charter ultimately prevails. Council can take no action, resolution, motion, or otherwise, which contravenes the charter. So while council may do that, if the manager views that as an encroachment on her authority under the charter, then she may simply, and I've not talked to her about that, but she may simply say, you know what, that's not something that I'm going to honor and heed, because the charter controls, and the charter, for all the reasons that I've said, do not require it.
All right. On that, would it be, I mean, if we were to come up with just an agreement with the city manager and just a discussion, instead of going through motions and all this stuff, just have a conversation and everybody agrees this is what we'll do moving forward, and really?
Jerry, Mayor Pro Tem, sorry. I have a quick question. Well, I hope it's quick. When you read through Chapter 2, General Municipal Powers, Section 2.4, further definitions of powers, it clearly defines the two branches of government for the city of Linden, administrative and executive. And When you go down to letter N, all powers of municipal government possessed by the city are hereby divided into 2 general divisions. Legislative or policy forming as represented by the city council, and administrative as represented by the appointed city officials. Each shall have the duty of every officer of the city to preserve the divisions of the city government. That seems pretty clear, Mike, that the administrative, it covers employees, and that is Ellen, and executive, it says city council covers us, and we approve the budget, but we leave the city employees to Ellen. Would that be?
I'm hesitant to go too far back down that road. I gave an opinion, I stand by that opinion.
Okay.
That opinion is a matter of public record.
Okay, well, it seems to agrees with what you said.
Okay, any other comments?
Just a quick one. Ellen has always done an exceptional job finding people to work on her staff. We can see it. We're sitting here looking at it. I've known Ellen, I was part of the team that hired her, so I don't have any issues with who she hired. I have our new DPW director's resume, and it looks more than adequate. He's qualified for the job, so I stand behind the city manager if we want to have that conversation and we all want to say, yep, me too, I'm in with that.
Okay. With that said,
Mayor Pro Tem,
yes,
can I?
sure, Councilman.
This is not about Pat, and this is not about Ellen. This is that, you have the city council, and we should at least know who is coming in. Because it could have been somebody from the past that wasn't Ellen, that brought in somebody, and we wouldn't know nothing about them. And it's just a little oversight, and it's not, Pat would have been still the DPW. I've asked for the resume, I asked for the amount of pay. I didn't get anything till real recently. I was told that, they've been updating us throughout the whole process. I assumed at the end, we would be given some information before they hire. That's just assumptions, and I've looked back in the past at what has happened. And I don't think there's, my biggest thing is trying to get emails answered, and getting the responses, and that's just respect. So going forward, I hope that maybe what Jerry has said is maybe we can all work together to see if we can come up with something that's acceptable, that, the council has some say or agreement with the city manager. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Last chance? Okay. We'll move on to department reports. So.
They look great.
We
Do you
better
want to
back,
review them?
no,
They can,
no.
they can certainly review
Nope,
them.
we're good.
They look
So,
great.
actually,
more speeding.
anybody have any comments on those reports?
No, that's nice.
All right. I actually read through Tessa's report. It was several pages, so with the van and the meeting with the director, I know that there's some progress being made on the shed, for lack of a better term, with the pool table and all in there, so that seems to be moving forward a little bit, so, yeah. All right, we will wrap this up with council comments. Councilor Dick, we'll start with you.
Oh, boy. Picked the wrong guy tonight. Mr. Pro-Town, regarding the hire of Patrick McNally as our DPW director, council received all requested documents now. I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Mr. McNally as DPW director by city manager Alan Glass at this time.
Support.
Okay.
This is
Well,
how you
do-
do it at the end of the meeting? I'm asking, is this how you do it?
We don't need to, we're just all in favor, would be
I guess it was.
fine? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I'd also would ask that the job description of Mr. Rinaldi's resume be included in the minutes for tonight's meeting. Regarding the ongoing accusations that the city manager is violating purchasing policies, she touched on it a little bit. I'd like to point out that the ordinance is different from the resolutions and grants broader powers. Competitive bids are not required when using a bulk purchasing program such as My Deal or Sourcewell. They are state-ran programs that guarantee the lowest prices. Though that is the vendor that did the work here at the Losi Center. Hall A and B were paid for by Losi millage money. The upgrades for council, requested by council, were paid for by the PEG grants, as the manager said. So two separate purchases, both for almost $12,000 each. $12,000 for the council, $12,600 for the councils, and $11,300 for Losi's. So there was no violation of the purchasing policy there. Just want to make that clear. The 2026 spending resolution gives the manager the power to buy goods for the city between $5,000, under $5,000 is no problem. Between $5,000 and $15,000, they're authorized to make purchases of equipment without our prior approval, as long as they get quotes. If she has 3 quotes, it's still good. So we have no questions about that. If we come back later and say, hey, what did you buy? We know. But if they use the purchasing groups, they don't have to do that. There's also a question floating around out there of a tractor that was purchased by the DPW. Director Grace used the competitive bid process, which was My Bid, Sourcewell, and even going around getting tractor prices. He approached a Linden business to source the tractor, of which our purchasing ordinance allows a 10% bump to go over to use a local business. He got the best price from the local business without having to pressure him or even use his bump. The only problem is during COVID, our purchasing resolution for the city manager and departments was $20,000. When he bought the tractor, it was $15,000. They made a mistake. Can we fire Don now? I mean, it's done. The mistake was made. The city manager realizes that it's $15,000, and I don't believe that that problem will come up again. It was an accident. We're all human. We make mistakes. They know it. They won't repeat it. Today, the city manager was once again called out on social media. Post highlights an expense entry in the 2025-26 budget without an appropriation. The post suggests the manager is operating outside the rules again and just authorized a $73,000 purchase on her own. However, this is actually a late bill from the Lindenwood subdivision project and is working its way through the accounting system to be recorded as a fixed asset. Please call City Hall with any questions or email the City Council. We can look into it and get you the answers. When residents go straight to social media without knowing any of the facts, city staff gets all the criticism, and that can't be taken back. We've already had an employee dragged through social media mud and had to remove themselves from social media altogether. They've had death threats made against them. Residents are asking us as council to do better, get along, and get things done. Unfounded social media posts have to stop. The posts are creating a real workplace threat to the city staff, and they are not paid enough to worry about whether the next person entering City Hall is there to do them harm. City staff are there for residents and work extremely hard every day. We have a small staff that wear many hats. Please let them know they are appreciated, and let me know if you ever see a mistake. There's no ill intent in their actions. They just have a lot going on at all times.
Councilor Miller.
I was asked about the $73,000, and I directed that person to call the city because I did not know what it was. I assumed it was a project that was done, and there was no further action on there. But I did suggest the person go to the city. As far as the mistake, I understand everyone makes mistakes. It's just I know that that didn't come in front of the city, or in front of the council here. I asked a question, I wasn't given an answer. I think that, council, if I ask a question through email, hopefully I'll get the answer. It's a lot easier than come here and ask in front of everyone. We can all do better, every single one of us. And you talk about social media, it's not nice out there. It's absolutely horrible. Linden Fire, thank you for what you're doing in the community. I know there was a little boy that got hurt, and I know Linden Police, or Fire was there. And I don't know if people know that we have fire department people that have to stay home and make sure that this city at all times is covered. And it takes a lot of commitment, so we need to thank them. I've never had a question about our fire department. I've seen them in action. The same with our police department. I've seen them in action. There is no problem there at all. Thank you to DPW for the sweeper. The guy's doing an amazing job. The thing with Dr. Wax's, that's been an ongoing problem and needs to be addressed. We can't even get kayaks down there, which is supposed to be a place for kayaks to go to. I don't know how we can fix that. It's been to council many, many times. It's not fair. Even on the weekends, we can't use that. You can't use Dr. Wax's office because you will be towed. So I give that, I don't know if Ellen can do anything, probably not. She's got a public or private parking lot. But there should be some kind of time in the public ones, that people can't just go to work and put their car there for 9 hours.
Correct.
So, in saying that, thank you all for everything you're doing, and I appreciate it. But I know we can all get along, and we all have to do better. Thank you.
Councilor Simons.
I have a comment. Yes.
Okay.
As the vice chair of Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, I just wanted to let you know that the director did write a note and answer questions for our residents regarding the classes and instructors for the LoSI Center and also for Southern Lakes Parks and Rec. The same message that we heard here tonight is the message that our director had forwarded to our residents. And I just wanted to thank you guys for paying attention to this. I'm watching it very closely. You're paying attention to the current need, and we look forward to better and more instructors in the future and as the process continues. So thank you for that. I'm really disappointed with the losing the grant to the Thompson Road project. That's really disheartening. I look forward to spring and finding out, what we're going to do next, how we can work with our citizens, if we can. Really looking toward forward even a little further into the fall and August next year and having a major push. I don't know what that's going to take. Do we all have to go sit in and ask for help? This is a small city, and this is a huge burden that has been on us for decades. We've talked about it so many times, and it was really hard to find a resolution. Most important thing to me, I live 5 or 6 houses down. Most important thing to me is having fresh water, good water to shower, to drink, and my concern is that you have the same thing. So very disappointed with that, and looking forward to what we can do next year to get the grant. The gazebo and the rocks, they all got pushed away, and I heard about that, heard about who did that. But that's something that's kind of bothered me a little bit. I talked about it a few meetings ago and asked if we could take even chunk cement or something from our current project to put over there. Don't know if that's possible, but just wanted to put that out there. Mike, I trust you completely. I understand the process that we go through the city manager or the mayor. Maybe that wasn't clear to the rest of our council, so thanks for bringing that up today. I learned because I actually, a few years back, tried to write Mike a note, and he says, oh, no, the rules are go through your city manager, so I did. So that's just something we go along and learn as we go. And that's all I have.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Hicks.
I've got a couple things. One, I'd like to touch bases on the parking at the Hatch parking lot there. I go through that area every morning between 8:15 and 8:30 on my way to work. And what concerns me is, yes, there's all parking. If you look in the businesses that are open, there may only be one person or two persons in those businesses, but that lot's full. First thing, it's not all Dr. Wax's employees, it's that whole building. There's more than one business in that building. So it's unfair that we keep bringing up her name because it's a building. Two, it is a safety hazard because I've had to stop because they're jaywalking across to get to the building. They won't go use the crosswalks because they're having to park across the street so they feel that they can walk anywhere. So we got to address that. The chief's not here. There is an officer here. I hope he will guide the chief towards our minutes tonight to hear this because that's got to be addressed also. Yeah, there's a problem. We can figure it out. We don't have to sling mud, but we can get it figured out and work out a conclusion. Two, process. We've got to get back to, there's lines of process. There's people in charge of certain departments that you got to go through that department to process stuff. We're not those departments. We overlook those departments. Those departments have to be able to handle the questions and handle the concerns and come up with answers and bring them to us. It'll just make things so much more easier. We just get back to line of authority. That's all it is. I may be out of place, but this is my feelings, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilor Howell?
I feel like recently I've been blessed with two eye surgeries that have allowed me to now see distance and be able to, I had cataracts, so I'm just very thankful that I can now see all of you sitting out here clearly and with no halo around you. And I also want to mention that I've had these issues ongoing for several months. I don't do social media and I'm not going to, even though I could probably see it now. I'm not going to do it. I want to thank the city employees for all their wonderful work with our budget, for Brooke, for Ellen, for management, and picking some of the best employees we have, for Tessa, for the wonderful work with LoC, for Patrick, for being really patient with me and talking with me this afternoon about why those black bags are still on the stormwater drains, and I know it's because the soils need to stabilize, or they too will go right down the drain. And so, unfortunately, the crabgrass is stabilizing that, and that's more due to the fact that we had 2 months of almost drought and heat beyond belief, which killed all the grass seed and all the potential growing grass. So unfortunately, we all need to reseed. I'm going through that same thing with, we had to have a tree removed in our yard because it died. I also wanted to say that I attended a cyber security training through the Michigan State Police and wanted to talk about the fact that the problems that many cities had with their water infrastructure being infiltrated by hackers was mainly due to social engineering techniques like phishing mails, like clicking on the wrong link. So I want to remind each and every one of you, be very, very vigilant with your own personal emails and such. Don't click on something you don't know who it's from, especially older people. And Tessa, it'd be something really good for the elder, for LoC Senior Center. Really good. I think you've had a class though, actually, on social engineering, phishing, spamming, famming, and all those other things they caught one. So I also wanted to talk about the fact that I think as a council we're growing and we need to support one another, and I think we're getting to that point, and we're finally opening up and talking to one another, and that's excellent. So way to go, team. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to bring up a little bit on, some of the topics that have been brought up over the quite a few months. The residents have asked that we treat them with respect. We don't call them out individually and 100% correct, right? We need to be professional coming this way. However, it needs to be the same way coming from the residents. If you have an issue, and I'll use myself as an example, you have an issue with how I vote or my policies or what I believe in, feel free to attack them. That's why we're here, that's part of our job, and that's perfectly okay. But when these attacks start becoming personal, that's where we start losing the professionalism, and this is both directions, any direction, whatever side you want to say. When the attacks start becoming personal, that's when it's crossing the line. And on social media, we have no control of that, but it would just be a good citizen not to watch what you say, maybe take a little bit of break away from it when somebody's upsetting you, but inside here, we're dealing with city policies, and that's what we need to focus on. Individual attacks have no place here, because outside of here, you can disagree with what I believe in, and outside of here, I'm going to be perfectly fine with you as an individual. And I think that's how it needs to be handled moving forward. And if we could do that, if we could just be a little bit more civil to each other, I think that would make this city even better than it is. And I think it's a great city. So really, that's about all that I have. I'd like to thank you all for showing up. And
Mayor Pro Tem, one thing. Thursday night,
Sure.
free hot dog event. Please come right here from 3:30 to 6. All the trimmings. We've been blessed by the city for allowing us, and Tessa for allowing us, a big group to come in and serve you hot dogs, pasta salads, and all the other stuff. So from 3:30 to 6, please come in, tell your neighbors. Thank you.
Okay. And with the Don retirement little get together, understand that 100%. He works with you all every day, and that makes it a little bit more personal, a little bit private, and that's what it should be. We did the ceremony beforehand, and I'm 100% okay with that. So with that, there is no closed session. So
I make a motion that we close the meeting.
yeah, and students, if you have any paperwork needs to be signed, anybody up here can take care of that. And at 7:47, this meeting is adjourned.